so that's what brings us here. You just heard President Trump on Air Force One last night. He was asked about Mayor Bowser's decision not to run for re-election, and he went on a bit of a talk about crime being eradicated, that there was no more crime, no more violence in DC, that he had cured it in a matter of weeks. And now here we have this just 2 blocks from the White House.
If we could go back, you guys, can we go back to the ground pictures there? We had actually pictures from the scene that were down on the ground that actually showed, gives us a little bit better perspective of what our Paul Wagner, who's there live on the scene, who was describing the mass number of police agencies. We can see DC police vehicles, no doubt, the Secret Service, and their National Guards troops right there, the very troops that we've been talking about. You mentioned, Mark, 2,000 are on patrol around our city at any given time right now. Learning that their fellow Guards members were shot has to be very concerning for them.
Oh, absolutely. You can only imagine, again, what this does to the morale of those troops. We already know the morale of those National Guard troops was low because they've been here for so long. There was questions whether they were going to get paid during the shutdown, whether they were going to get their housing allowance,
and what their purpose was. There was questions about what they're doing,
and there was questions about that as well. And I will just, I will say that every National Guard, every time I've encountered them, and when I see on social media how people encounter them, they're very accessible. They talk, they pose for pictures with kids, they're not an imposing figure. Certainly, it's not something that people want to see on their streets every day, armed troops. But given the level of law enforcement intervention in the district right now, there's been more angst and focus on the immigration enforcement, again, which National Guard is just not a part of.
I got some updates right now. According to the Associated Press, we now know that 2 National Guard soldiers were shot Wednesday. Their conditions right now are immediately not known. Emergency vehicles, as we know, are seen in that area. But again, we understand 2 National Guard soldiers were shot. We have been reporting at least 3 people were shot. We know that one of them was flown out in a medical helicopter. 2 were taken to the hospital by ambulance. We're still working to learn more information about what may have happened.
And
this is crazy, folks.
Mark, can you talk about that? And now knowing, as Sean has reported, about the 2 guardsmen being shot.
Right. This is exactly what Paul Wagner just described. Look, Wags has been on more scenes like this than any of us over the decades. And he's describing exactly what you're seeing, a heavy infiltration of law enforcement. I mean, when you have anyone in law enforcement injured, they swarm, right? And so you have this immediate influx of law enforcement, medical personnel going on the scene. And then there's the question of, is there an active shooter? Is there somebody on the loose? Do they need to lock down the area? And since we have not heard anything about lockdown, we have to start asking ourselves, is one of the people who was shot the shooter? We don't know that. We're waiting to find that out. But so far, we have not heard anything about a lookout for shooters or people to shelter in place. We haven't had any orders like that from the police department. But you will see the entire perimeter. And because it's so close to the White House, they will extend that perimeter. Right, the Secret Service will shut down around the White House and all those federal buildings around there. It's late in the afternoon. We're approaching rush hour before a holiday. People are trying to get out of town. This is going to cause bedlam.
Absolutely.
Wag's exact words, description down there of what's going on in the heart of downtown DC right now. And you look at that on the screen. You see law enforcement with long rifles, walking the streets there on patrol. And you also see pedestrians. So I imagine our camera is set up a few blocks away from the actual shooting site. But again, what I would be looking for down there is whether or not they're actually actively looking for a shooter or not. And my guess is we'll probably be hearing about that fairly shortly.
Yeah, this is 17th in Connecticut, our producer is telling us, and you could really see not just the police presence, but everyone around there now trying to figure out what's going on, probably leaving early from work.
Sure.
And this is just such a busy time in the day for this to be going down.
And then, not only that, but also because we're so close to the holiday, people were in town visiting family and relatives.
Right.
We reported earlier the president is at his home in West Palm Beach. I understand that we're understanding the White House is aware. He is aware of the situation, and they are actively monitoring this tragic situation. This is White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt is just sent out a tweet that said the president has been briefed. This has got to be, a frightening situation to all of a sudden see this happen in the middle of our city. We're one day before Thanksgiving. People were just going
Thanksgiving,
about their
folks.
everyday lives. And now this huge area is cordoned off with police tape, emergency vehicles, and people are trying to figure out what's going on.
Yeah. Look, on a bad day, on a
Right.
cold November day, weekday at Farragut Square, that park is going to be crowded.
Yes.
On a day when we're in the 70s, you can imagine how many people were outside today taking advantage of this good weather when these shots broke out, and what that did, given the climate and the temperature of society, right? That what we're going through, and you hear gunfire just blocks from the White House, and you can only imagine what people were going through at that moment.
And you were talking about the immediate response for law enforcement, but also it's the National Guard is involved as well. There has to be another level of response for that part of the story.
Oh yeah, and when I am sure we will see the head of the National Guard on the scene shortly as well as more military personnel getting in there. And you're right, there will be multiple layers of investigations once this settles down and they try to determine exactly what happened. There will be a military investigation, there will be a police investigation, likely a federal investigation. A lot will be coming out of this in the days after this, but right now, trying to figure out exactly what happened. And again, is there a shooter or shooters on the loose? And what precipitated this? Was this random? Were they targeting these troops? Again, which would just, I got to tell you, any city right now around the country right now is reacting to this,
Wow.
right?
Yeah.
Right.
Any city that might either have National Guard troops deployed or military deployed. I got to imagine military bases are on high alert. This is what happens. We've learned this over the years. When something happens anywhere in the country,
Right.
all big cities take a close look at this and determine whether they need to elevate their threat assessment in their own cities. And something like this is having a ripple effect across the entire country, I guarantee you right now.
Indeed. Guys, do we still have Paul Wagner, who is there on the ground for us? Do we still have Paul on the phone? Okay, we're going to go back to Paul. He's live there on the ground, and we just kind of want to get his perspective. You mentioned the number of people who are out there, just random people who are going about their everyday lives.
I had a chance to be outside today. It's a gorgeous day. It is the day before Thanksgiving on a Wednesday. I have a million errands to run. I had a flat tire. It's just one of those days when it's just very busy and people are trying to get the last bit. The other thing is our kids are home. They want to see friends. We're all trying to get together with our families. To happen at 17th and I, in the middle of, as Mark said, a busy day, no matter on a regular day. And the day before Thanksgiving, I think we all came in thinking we could have one peaceful day as we head into the holiday. And here we are talking about a shooting in downtown Washington. 2 National Guard soldiers shot by the White House. And the AP
This is
reporting that the
crazy,
conditions
folks.
are unknown. And right now, we don't know who the shooter is or if that shooter is still out there.
Mark,
There terrorism
we've
here?
been talking a lot about the National Guard troops and the surge and the buildup. And I think a lot of people thought after the initial 1 month or 30 days, they would be out of here. But we don't know how long they could be here.
Yeah, there have been reports that they'll be here well into next year, that they've gotten orders and there are mechanisms in place that have got them well into next year. So there's no end in sight for this deployment of National Guard. I just got an alert on my phone. They have now expanded the perimeter down there of street closures up to Connecticut Avenue, K Street, H and I, which is 17th and H and 17th and I, which is, we believe, where the shooting took place. But now these closures have gone up to the 800 block of Connecticut Avenue, as well as K Street, the 16 to 1700 blocks of K Street, as between 18th and 16th Street. So this perimeter that they're closing down is expanding. We don't want to read into what that means, just that what it does mean, if you're down there and you're trying to get out of there, it's going to be far more difficult to navigate those streets down there, particularly if you're in a car and you're trying to drive home and get out of town, either because of this or just because of the long weekend ahead of us.
Can you talk about the situation with a federal judge who ruled that the administration does not have the authority to put the D.C. National Guard troops or National Guard from other states here in Washington?
Right. So the D.C. Attorney General Brian Schwab sued the Trump administration over this. They had a victory in court. A local judge, ruled that, in fact, it was illegal both for the president to deploy the D.C. National Guard for crime-fighting purposes and to deploy National Guard from out of state to D.C. without the request of the D.C. mayor. The judge put a stay on that decision until December 11th. And so we're in this period where we're waiting for that to be appealed by the Trump administration. And so they're still here at least till December 11th.
Hey guys, and we do have an update, a breaking news update right now. We understand, according to DC police, the scene has been secured. We are told one suspect is in custody. Again,
Okay, we got
secured,
suspect in
one
custody.
suspect is in custody. I think we should mention we don't know if there are more than one. So, but this is good news from what we're hearing right now from DC police. This scene is secure. Metro police also reporting customers are asked to avoid the area. I believe this is
Farragut
Metro
West.
customers,
Farragut
Metro,
West. Yes. So
Metro riders.
I would say, reading police speak as I have for many years, perimeter secured, suspect in custody.
Does that mean it's over?
Would indicate that they don't believe there are other suspects. That there's no threat to the community.
Okay.
But they haven't said that. We have to wait for them to say that. But if they thought if they put that out and they thought there was another suspect on the loose, a danger to the community, they would be putting that out in these alerts as well. So they at least have not said that.
Let's talk about. Go ahead.
do you know if the perimeter is secured? And as to your point, that means the scene will be cleared soon. How long it's going to take, though, because they keep to be here and
well into the night.
Okay.
Oh, they'll be scouring this location, taking forensics investigation. It'll be some time before we get back to a normal transit in this area. So I would avoid this area downtown for the rest of the day, without a doubt, and night.
That was part of my question, though, the what's next here. We should just, in case you're wondering why it seems like our camera, Chopper 4, is so far away, just a reminder, there is I believe, a 50-mile no-fly zone, a perimeter around the District of Columbia, around the White House. And so our camera is as close as we can get it to you. That's why we were showing you some of the images there on the ground. But Chopper 4 cannot fly over that area. This is as close as we can get. You mentioned that this could go on all night. I'm going to imagine multiple different agencies, from the Secret Service to MPD to Capitol Hill Police.
Everyone with a badge is down there right now. Everyone. You've got in federal investigative, I'm sure the FBI, the Secret Service, just because of the proximity to the White House. You'll have military down there. MPD will be down there. The question I can't answer, and I'll ask myself, I'll put it out there, is who will lead? What agency will lead this investigation when, if these are actually federal, National Guard troops who had been shot? I'm not clear as to whether that becomes an MPD local investigation or if that's an FBI investigation. We'll have to wait and see. I can't imagine they're going to go too much longer without a press briefing on this. This is the kind of thing that demands, answers. You've got everybody tuning in, breaking news like this. I'm sure as soon as they get some clarity, and I believe now that they've said a suspect is in custody, scene secured, I would anticipate getting a briefing sooner rather than later from the police.
So can we go back, Mark, to what you were saying about what the lead up to this, that you felt like this was something that people were waiting for to happen?
People were worried about this happening. There's no doubt about that, that one of two things could happen, that there would either be a shooting where either federal troops or federal agents would shoot somebody, particularly an innocent person, someone who didn't get, we saw a federal agent shoot into a car of an unarmed man, missed him, but, could have killed him, right? And so that had always been a big fear, that would spark civil unrest, protests, or worse, right? And this was also a fear that someone at some point would either, in an exchange of gunfire, when they're just simply carrying out a warrant or an arrest, that there would be a shootout, or that at some point someone might target either these federal agents or these troops. And again, these troops are just, they're just an easy target because they stand around in clusters, right? They're not in cars mobile like the federal agents. They're with themselves. They're wearing body armor. I honestly don't even know if the National Guard troops wear body armor, if they have vests on or not. I know they wear a lot of gear,
right?
But I honestly don't know if they have Kevlar on in any way, and so they're much more susceptible to something like this than those federal officers, those federal agents are, who are driving around in convoys and pulling over when they're making a stop and things like that. But they're not just you know, and I don't want to make it seem like they're not doing anything when I say when they're just hanging out, but we've seen how they've been deployed.
Right.
They stand in clusters at high profile intersections, at metro stations and parks along the National Mall, providing us. And look, a lot of people have been very appreciative of the National Guard presence. I've heard from a lot of people who feel much safer on the metro, just knowing these men and women are in these metro stations. And so, you know, not to discount what their mission is and what they're doing here. And again, you know, these are men and women who have jobs and families back home that they have left now for days and weeks, sleeping in hotels, doing, you know, what at times is a very thankless job.
And our camera is live right there. This takes me back to thinking about those troops. While we wait to find out exactly what happened or what led up to the shooting and the details surrounding it, I have to think about we've been reporting, the AP has reported that two troops were shot, and we know are in the hospital waiting to find out what their conditions are, how hard this must be for.
Looks like it's a straight up attack on
guardsmen that are down
LE.
here on the ground, and also their families who we don't know where are in the country might be watching this news right now and wondering, we're one day before Thanksgiving, a day that we all spend with our families, that they weren't going to get to spend with their families because they're here.
There are 2,000 families somewhere around the country who are all wondering this, just exactly.
All right, we got a different feed perspective of the road here. Here we go. So we are in Washington, D.C. And it appears National Guard came under attack here. 2 shot. There was reports of 1 dead, but we'll get more understanding here. They are at the scene. This is just horrifying, folks. So 2 National Guard shot near the White House. The White House was on lockdown. Suspect is in custody, though. They say a suspect is in custody. Horrifying, folks. On the day before Thanksgiving, we got a situation here. It's just horrifying. National Guardsmen under attack. The President of the United States has been briefed. About the situation. Horrible. Horrible situation, folks.
La priorité, c'est que tu viennes me rejoindre. Je suis au croisement. Je suis, tu vois, pas du côté du bureau, de l'autre côté. Ouais, au croisement. J'arrive pas à t'envoyer. Mais tu t'approches des balises au plus proche possible de l'intersection. Croisement High Street, Connecticut Avenue, mais pas côté du bureau. En gros, tu sors du bureau, tu vas à gauche et tu traverses.
They are armed down there. Looks like they got multiple street corners blocked off. I'll get the locations here shortly.
that's right. And this is part of basically the image that we've seen in this city for a while. The left being close to guarding a lot of metro stations. This metro station is Farragut West. We also see some members of the National Guard. You see a lot of media.
Farragut West Metro Station area. Two National Guardsmen have been shot. Suspect in custody. Reportedly near the White House. It goes on to say a suspect is in custody after two National Guard soldiers and possibly others were shot near the White House on Wednesday, citing two law enforcement officials not authorized to discuss the matter publicly. The Associated Press reported that two National Guard soldiers have been shot and their conditions are not immediately known. CNN reported that several people were shot, according to a source. At least one is a National Guard soldier. The White House is aware and actively monitoring this tragic situation. The president has been briefed, Carolyn Levitt said. President Trump is in Florida. D.C. Metro Police have confirmed they are on the scene of a shooting near the White House and asked the public to avoid the area. As of 3 p.m. Eastern, just 17 minutes ago, the area is secure and a person has been taken into custody. Trump was golfing at the time at his West Palm Beach golf course. Hundreds of National Guard members from the district and several states have been patrolling the nation's capital after President Trump in August issued an emergency order in the capital, federalizing the local police and sending the guardsmen from 8 states to the District of Columbia. Now, folks, this also comes yesterday. Mary Bowser, the mayor, said she's not going to seek re-election. Comes right before Thanksgiving. Crazy. Comes right before Thanksgiving. I'm trying to understand more about this situation as the information comes out. Who is the suspect? Is it a terrorist, or is this some mentally ill person in D.C.? Criminal? Was this a direct targeted attack, or was the National Guard and police trying to break up a some sort of crime that was going on in Washington, D.C.? As we've discussed for the last couple of weeks, crime seems like it's starting to go back up since many of the National Guard have left, though they still have a presence there. CNN is reporting 2 National Guardmen shot in Washington, according to DHS chief. 2 National Guardsmen were shot, according to Homeland Security Kristi Noem, secretary. The National Guard did not immediately respond to requests for comment. Circumstances among the shooting are not immediately clear. So definitely got a heavy police presence in the area there. And we're going to try to get an understanding if this was a terror attack, specific target, or what's going on. Farragut Square, White House and the Treasury Department were placed on lockdown as a precaution. Heavy police presence. Both victims' injuries, conditions unknown. We will probably also get a press conference briefing here soon about the situation. Definitely see the National Guard out there presence. Their presence is known now. So sparked a lockdown at the White House. All right, so I'm going to read this Daily Mail report as we're getting filled in with information before they probably give a press conference or some sort of press briefing. You can clearly see black SUVs coming into the scene here too. Multiple National Guard soldiers have been reportedly shot near the White House, sparking a security lockdown at the president's residence, the White House. Earlier reports suggested the shooter is in custody after multiple people were shot in the street from a block from the White House. An image has emerged online showing a National Guard troop laying injured on the pavement as blood pours from his head. Uh-oh. Who's this? All right, so what they're saying is one of the National Guardsmen apparently might have been shot in the head, according to the Daily Mail. An unidentified trooper in uniform was seen on a stretcher inside an ambulance receiving medical attention at the scene of the shooting. Goes on to say an FBI source told the Daily Mail that agents are on their way and will be on the scene as soon as possible. FBI agents. Not good, folks. This is not good. This is not good at all.
Oh, no, that's fine.
All right, so we are at the crime scene. Obviously, you see law enforcement out there with their guns. Presence known here. All types of agents here. It looks like FBI, National Guard, DC, Metropolitan Police, Capitol Police, ATF at the scene. So they got all types of agencies out there at the scene, folks. But there appears to be someone in custody here. I'm trying to find a name. I'm doing my little sleuthing right now as we're on. Try to find out exactly who is taken into custody. Guy or girl? I would assume it's probably a male. Question is, was this a targeted attack or what?
is that compared to where we are now, right, using this as our place, where were you?
We are here at the scene in Washington, D.C. A little bit by the White House. The Treasury and the White House on lockdown as a precaution. Oh, they got a lot of spectators out there seeing what's going on. Heavy police presence there. Looks like most of the ABC federal agencies are out there.
Listen. Thank you so much.
Right before Thanksgiving. Horrible. Horrible situation. It appears there is a footage of a National Guard soldier shot, possibly in the head. It's insanity out there. William Kaufman, thank you. It's insanity out there, folks. We'll try to understand more about this. Thanks for coming on. We were talking about a crazy fire in Hong Kong, and this popped up, and I was monitoring it, and then now we know what's going on. There's really some crazy action going on. The reports are saying 2. Now, there's a lot of people actually putting out shooters out on the loose. Now, we're seeing somebody taken into custody. It doesn't mean that there could be another shooter. It could be. I don't know. But a lot of people are still saying shooters out on the loose. But they're also saying somebody has been taken into custody. National Guard troops have worked to make Washington, D.C., which belongs to all Americans, safe and secure. This targeted attack on them today is absolutely despicable and unacceptable. See, that's what we have to find out. People are starting to say online that it's a targeted attack. One victim being seen transported via helicopter. It's a helicopter, transported via helicopter. DC needs full federal government control, and the Guard needs ability to arrest and fire when threatened, Chris Creative says. I concur with you on that, because they have orders, really. I mean, they only can do so much to an extent. But I like that concept. DC needs to be full federal government control, and the Guards need ability to arrest and fire when threatened.
Ok, est-ce que tu peux regarder si ça me dit bien? Là, est-ce que si je fais ça, ça tape bien? Est-ce que tu m'entends? Est-ce que tu m'entends? Alors, c'est quoi ça?
As Chris and I were talking, Robert saw a fire truck blocking the entrance to the metro station drove away. So you can get a sense of
Heavy police presence still in the area here. And we're going to try to find out more about this suspect, whoever the suspect may be.
Deux membres de la garde nationale se sont tirés dessus lors de cette fusillade. On ignore leur état de santé précis, mais le président américain Donald Trump vient de poster un message sur ses réseaux sociaux en affirmant que les deux hommes sont gravement blessés, qui sont dans des hôpitaux. À quelques mètres, ça va ou pas? Continue encore? Ok. Tu peux prévenir le nodal?
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have to push everybody one block back, okay?
Oh, they're pushing everyone one block back. Pushing everyone one block back.
It always happens when you have the best spot. You have it, and then a minute before the line. All right, folks, our police line is moving back. This tape is moving back. If you have a camera against the police line tape, please move it. You do not want to damage your equipment.
One block back. One block back.
All right, so we got a huge police presence. Washington, D.C. 2 National Guard troops shot, 1 person taken into custody. Unclear about the others. We'll find out more here very, very soon.
Yeah, you're good. Hey, once we get everybody, we'll just cut it right here.
Hey, we don't have any more time. Come on, let's go. I'm sorry, we gotta go. We gotta move back.
Okay, so they're making the people move back, making them move back.
Excuse me. 16. 16. That right here, 16.
All right, so the feed is a little bit shaky. I see some of you asking. We are in D.C., and 2 National Guard people have been shot, and they're moving back the crowd. They're telling the crowd to move back, so they're trying to create a bigger perimeter here and push people back another block away from the scene here. The question is, there's conflicting reports. CNN is reporting multiple people shot besides just the 2 National Guard, but we'll find out more here. Two National Guardsmen engaged in gunfire with the suspected shooter prior to being shot. Now, what's crazy is, I don't know if you remember, like last month, the dude that went up and threw a sandwich at the National Guard troop, hitting him and then running off. Eventually, he didn't even get, they dropped his, well, he was found not guilty, which was crazy. A lot of people say jury nullification is real, but they had problems prosecuting that guy, whatever like that. And I think when you get things like that, it emboldens these wacko doodles that they can come and confront federal law enforcement in D.C. without any consequences. I don't know if you remember the sandwich guy. Do a sandwich. Well, eventually they couldn't get an indictment on him, whatever it's like that. So eventually they just charged him, and he went to trial, and he won. He won, right? He won. And then he was giving some press conference out there, and all right, so they're actually pushing people back. We'll see how far back they go and what's going on. Thank you, Adopt a Cat 2877. Thank you. Thank you, Colin Byer, LY5212. Thank you. William Kaufman, thank you.
I just feel like I'm going to have a problem if I stay over there. It's just not that much better than this. Okay, now I'm still. I have my shot up on it. Hey, Griff, behind you. Griff. Yeah, okay, thank you very much. Spencer, right behind you. Yeah, appreciate it. See you reinforcements.
Where is he? No, I told him to go to 17th in Pennsylvania. No, but no, he might have gone there. I don't know. I honestly haven't been keeping up with all the talk. Oh, there he is. Yeah, you're right. I just wanted to get here quick, you know, like I didn't bring all everything I needed. So just get a shot of live. Right. And then let the rest of it.
Yeah, so it's still got a heavy police presence here. They were pushing people back. I had OJ sitting here with me watching the situation. So 2 National Guard members shot, suspect in custody, and we're waiting to find out more information.
Just don't get in front of me. That's all I ask you. Guys, hey, the line is right here.
Folks, in the interest of not getting hit by a car, please make room for the vehicles to exit. For your safety, please make room for the car.
Oh, thank you, K-Love. Thank you, 8055. K-Love, thank you. Happy Turkey Day. Thank you to you. We are praying for these 2 National Guards members. We're praying for the whole National Guard. We're praying for law enforcement. Man, I'm telling you, we've been watching the crime kind of spike in DC in the last 30 days. They were there, it kind of went down, right? But they were still having major issues. And I know it revolves Congress after a certain amount of days of them being there. But we saw the Navy Yard on Halloween with the Navy Yard chaos on Halloween. The kids out there, just the DC streets are not safe. They're still not safe. They're still not safe. They need to give these federal National Guard troops, federal troops more power. They need to get them more power to control and get rid of this evil here and stop this crime, this lawlessness. It's not safe in these streets of DC.
Media, 17th and 10 is where we are staging media.
Staging, media staging's coming up. Suspect is in custody, they say. Oh, there were members of the West Virginia National Guard. Thank you. Patrick Morrissey, the governor of West Virginia, said in a statement that the 2 soldiers who were shot were members of the state's National Guard. Remember, there was a lot of other states that sent their National Guard there to help. A ground stop was ordered at Reagan National Airport because of the law enforcement activity in downtown D.C., said Rob Yingling, a spokesman for the Metropolitan Washington Airports Authority. So this has had major effects here in Washington, D.C. So, you know, a lot of these Republican states have been sending their National Guard members. The attacker has also been shot. Now, there's an image of an attacker going into an ambulance. I'll find that and share that up there, but I'm not so sure. I'm trying to vet it to find out if it's actually the shooter.
There's a car coming out. There's a car coming out.
Take a look around and
So there's an image circulating on the internet of a, hey, Dr. Amy. Thank you, Dr. Amy. Nice to see you. Happy Thanksgiving to you, Dr. Amy. Praying for the National Guard and for our nation. There's a image of a man in I don't know, he pretty doesn't have a shirt on. He's on a gurney going into the hospital. It's the alleged suspect. So we'll put it up there. I don't know who he is, but it's definitely someone involved with this case that's either a victim or the suspect that has been shot. We'll get that up on the screen shortly. They're saying it's the DC shooter. Don't know who he is, but he definitely has a shirt off. He looks, I don't know, kind of looks like a Middle Eastern look. So we'll put him up here shortly. But people are circulating it saying that appears to be the suspect who was taken into custody. As we're hearing that the suspect probably was shot himself. We don't know anything about the suspect, but people are saying he has an Arabic appearance, like a long beard, Arabic appearance. So, yeah, I just got tagged. Patrick Morrissey, the governor of West Virginia, is a great sorrow that we can confirm both members of the West Virginia National Guard were shot earlier today in Washington, D.C., have passed away. Oh, no, from their injuries. Oh, they're dead. Oh, man. Oh, this is horrible. Horrible, folks. They're dead.
Oh, it is? Oh, we get to see it. Yeah.
They're dead. The governor just put it out. They're dead. Very sad. The 2 National Guardsmen are dead. Oh, man, that sends goosebumps down my spine. We love our law enforcement on our channel. This is a supposed suspect, possibly, or somebody involved with this. People are on the social media. It's somebody taken away from the scene here. Appears to be an Arabic man with a beard. clothes taken off, possibly because they stripped him off his clothes, maybe because maybe they were seeing if he had bombs on him or something. This appears to be the suspect. I'm not going to say that 100%, but this person's definitely involved with the situation here. So we have 2 National Guards men murdered in the streets of Washington, D.C. Horrible. Horrible. These brave West Virginians lost their life in the service of their country. We are in an ongoing contact with federal officials as the investigation continues. Our entire state grieves with their families, their loved ones, and the Guard community. West Virginia will never forget their service or their sacrifice. We will demand full accountability for this horrific act. This is horrible, folks. Horrible. We are praying for our law enforcement community. That's probably why things started going on lockdown, because they probably didn't understand what was going on. Was this a targeted as far as another group of individuals involved here? Were there other plans? Because things went on lockdown. The airport shut down. Reagan shut down. Treasury was on lockdown. The White House is on lockdown. I think they're still on lockdown. Clearly, this seems like it appears to be possibly a terror attack. Some people are saying online political terrorism. President Trump has put out a statement. The animal that shot the 2 National Guardsmen who are both critically wounded. However, he put that out before now it's out that they're dead. Is severely wounded. That would be the suspect. But regardless, will pay a very steep price. Trump said the suspect will pay a steep price. God bless our great National Guard and all of our military and law enforcement. These are our true great people. I, as President of the United States, and everyone associated with the office of the presidency, am with you. Kash Patel, FBI director. FBI is engaged in assisting with the investigation in Washington, D.C. after National Guardsmen were shot this afternoon. Please pray for them, and we will update with more information as we are able. J.D. Vance put out a statement, too, where he actually was speaking about it. J.D. Vance is somewhere right now. It seems like military, and he commented on that. We'll get that clip up here shortly. But this is a current live scene. Just complete chaos out here. Massive, massive crime scene. And it appears it was a targeted attack. Now that we're getting more information. But why? Why?
There's a car coming out.
We'll find out more here soon, hopefully. Presser coming up. On the eve of Thanksgiving. Horrible. Horrible.
There's a car coming out.
We have the crime scene secured. Sources are saying 10 to 15 shots were fired.
JC, Colette, do you guys have all the stuff for Christmas? I just ran out the door. I don't have. Okay. Well, I have. It's okay. You don't? Okay. I'm gonna might have them bring it to me if I need to.
You know, there's a lot of rhetoric out there against, you know, National Guard's presence in the cities, against Border Patrol, ICE. And, you know, there's a lot of politicians out there that are spewing and emboldening their base and firing them up by, you know, spreading misinformation and crazy rhetoric that, you know, this is not shocking to see, to say the least. The people are just going to take it out on lawful. And I'm very scared and worried about Border Patrol and ICE in the streets of the United States of America, but, you know, being flat out ambushed, attacked. This is getting crazy. You got law enforcement, National Guard. You got a psychopath that shoots National Guard, one in the head, allegedly. It's the attack on the law enforcement. It's just, but a lot of politicians. Then you got some politicians talking on the level of telling military, United States military, that they don't have to follow orders. It's getting insane with the talk. It's literally getting insane. It's incitement. I mean, watching, I haven't really necessarily seen it on the National Guard level, because the National Guard seems like they're only in DC and they're also in Memphis, but they're actually being welcomed in open arms in Memphis because everybody on there, including the mayor and the governor of Tennessee and the senators, U.S. senators, they're all on the same page with this. But when it comes to like Border Patrol and federal troops in the streets, we just seen the cars getting rammed. They're getting heckled, harassed. People are coming up in their face, making threats, going nose to nose with them, you know, obstructing them, making all types of threats like crazy. Like, this needs to stop, or we're going to see more of this. We're going to see more federal troops, National Guard, or federal DHS troops, DHS agents, maybe even FBI agents get targeted. This needs to stop. The rhetoric, but it's some of these politicians, they say the craziest things. They make accusations and say, oh, well, these Border Patrol and ICE agents are kidnapping people and torturing women and children and ripping people from their homes, and they're masked agents, and they're telling their people and their base to confront them, film them, go up to them. It's your right. And crazy, but it's also inspiring these far fringe people to act out and attack them. I mean, every city that the Border Patrol and ICE is in, law enforcement gets attacked at one point, whether they get their car rammed or threatened. It's crazy. And it's all tied in. It's all related. This is all related. It's all related. Just to how we are as a society today. It's related. These two National Guardsmen dead. But yeah, you got to give them powers. You got to give them more powers, man. You got to give them more powers to be able to use their weapon on American citizens. Unfortunately, that's how we are. This is how it is nowadays. We have a big problem within our borders. It's scary, but not shocking. It's sad, you know, sad. Man, those National Guard people, you go and interact with them. They're as nice as could be. They're professional. They're all nice. You're cool. They're cool. You know what I mean? You could talk and probably just kick it with them and talk to them on the street, and they'll have conversations with you. Cool. You know, as long as you don't come at them all crazy and hostile, and you just come as a citizen saying, hey, thank you for your service and everything like that. It's the respect. It's they're out there. They got families. They're all out there. They're deployed. They got families. They sacrifice. You know, they give us the freedoms that we have today. Military. Jersey girl. Nice to see you. 67. Always. Pray for our National Guard members and their families. Our National Guard should be armed in the streets of the United States of America. Happy Thanksgiving to you too, Jersey girl. And Jersey girl says, happy Thanksgiving to everyone in the chat. Man, I thought we were going to go through a day without some craziness. I mean, we're talking about a fire in Hong Kong, but we were specifically saying, I'm glad that I said today, I'm glad there hadn't been any mass shootings or anything crazy. Now this craziness pops up right before Thanksgiving. And, you know, this situation in D.C. could get much worse, too, because I say this because, well, one, regardless of whatever politician in D.C., the mayor, they have no choice when it comes to D.C. But the Mayor Bowser, she's not seeking her 4th term. She announced it yesterday. So you might have a new mayor in town coming in, and who knows, could be much, you know, some people like Bowser, some people don't. I think she's, you know, plays the middle of the fence there, but she did cooperate with the Trump administration and didn't openly defy them about the situation or say some crazy rhetoric, right? But you could get a new mayor that comes in and be much more far towards hostile towards the Trump administration, even though they have no choice, but just be vocal and just speak out against them. It could get much, much worse in Washington, D.C. than it already is. But now that will be a year from now or whatever, but still, like, you know, the trajectory of Washington, D.C. could get much worse. What kind of psychopath targets National Guard? But then also you got to keep in mind that Washington, D.C. is a beacon ground of crazies from all around the country. Whether they ran the White House fence, try to jump the White House, try to act stupid and crazy, they all come from other places. They all descend, and they bring the magnets of the crazies to Washington, D.C. This is the Patrick Morrisey, the governor of West Virginia. We read this earlier. We'll put it up on the screen for you to see. This is 17th and I Street, Northwest area, near the Farragut Metro stop. They're reporting that 10 to 15 shots were fired. So that is what we know now with this 10 to 15 shots fired. So what type of weapon did this suspect have? Oh, this guy, he's alive. He's getting the death penalty. This is death penalty case. You know that. This is 100% death penalty case. The president of the United States said the person that did this is going to pay a heavy price. All right, we're waiting for more updates and information here. I'm just scouring around the internet and seeing what they're saying. Both soldiers are dead.
Okay.
I mean, 2 National Guard troops shot on American soil.
Yes. Yeah, we did. Yeah. I made this thing called and asked them if they got it.
Shot on American soil.
I want to say first, before we get started, on a somber note, we had, and some of you may have seen this on your phones or on social media, but apparently there was a shooting outside the White House just a couple of hours ago. And we're still learning everything. We still don't know the motive. There's a lot that we haven't yet figured out. But what we do know is that a couple of National Guardsmen were injured in the line of duty. And first of all, I want everybody who's a person of faith to say a prayer for those 2 National Guardsmen, that they're able to spend Thanksgiving with their families instead of losing their lives, because I understand they're still in pretty tough condition. But I think it's a somber reminder that soldiers, whether they're active duty, reserve, or National Guard, our soldiers are the sword and the shield of the United States of America. And as a person who goes into work every single day in that building and knows that there are a lot of people who wear the uniform of the United States Army, let me just say very personally, thank them for what they're doing. We're grateful to them, and we're praying that they're going to be safe and they're going to spend Thanksgiving with their families. God bless them.
So that was J.D. Vance before they said, no, here's this could be the suspect here. The suspect. This is the image is going around. That was J.D. Vance before, known that the 2 soldiers died, but he was saying, they were injured. This is crazy, man. There's psychos on the street of Washington, D.C. shooting at National Guard. Looks like there's like shattered glass around there. Secret Service seen running directly into danger to help render aid to the National Guard troop, the downed troops.
Guys, there's a car coming out.
Secret Service running.
Basically the same, not this much alike.
To render aid.
I think that's my.
So they were talking about Meady's staging ground. So we're going to probably get some more information here shortly about what exactly happened here. Why and how. Terrible. Right before Thanksgiving. Terrible. And we have almost like every single agency out there that it appears. FBI and other agencies assisting with the investigation.
There's a car coming out, guys. There's a car coming out.
They're saying it was an ambush style attack. Ambush style attack. They're saying that the 2 National Guard troops were shot in an ambush-style attack. Ambush incidents targeting law enforcement have been on the rise this year. It began near the metro station. So you got Metropolitan Police also there at the scene. It appears to have begun near the Farragut Metro station. So we have a major police presence here. They are saying the scene is secure.
Everyone, media briefing when it happens.
Hey, Big Mike. Thank you. So they have the cameras set up for a possible press conference coming up here soon. So as soon as they get that underway, we'll go with that too. And also this happened in the reports are coming out by the Daily Mail. A lot of tourists were out there. And it caused a stampede. And then they're also saying the title of the Daily Mail article is Trump Vows Revenge. Trump vows revenge on the animal who shot dead 2 National Guardsmen near the White House. J.D. Vance says the White House shooting motive of the near the White House, the National Guard shooting motive is unknown. Looking around for a suspect's name, too. James McConnell, thank you. Thank you, James. Snazzy RN, if you're still here, I didn't say thank you earlier. I saw you too. If you're still here, thank you. This is a massive scene. This is a massive, massive crime scene here. It's a whole terrible situation. The attack on law enforcement needs to stop, and it's getting worse and worse almost regularly. We'll put the Trump's Truth Social post up on the screen here. We'll get this embedded up right here. The animal that shot the 2 National Guardsmen with both being critically wounded. This was at the time before it was announced that they died. and now in 2 separate hospitals is also severely wounded, but regardless will pay a very steep price. He's talking about the shooter. God bless our National Guardsmen and all our military and law enforcement. They are truly great people. I, as President of the United States, and everyone associated with the office of the presidency, am with you. So the shooter's going to pay a deep, steep price. Death penalty. That's a death penalty. It's a 100% death penalty case. Now, when this first happened, again, the FAA temporarily paused arrivals into Washington International Airport because of the locations of aircraft involved in the responding to today's shooting incident. But normal operations have resumed. Tim Moy, 48, told the New York Times while he was visiting with his son, who works in the White House, he was outside and he heard shots rang out, at least 5. I knew right away it was a shooting. I live in Albany, Georgia, and we hear all that all the time. I just saw a bunch of people running all over the place. So that's what we're waiting for, a press conference update. And I'm also looking around for the suspect. Now, the people in X are posting memes and different things of different people. They're doing the Sam Hyde type of trolling. Some people are blaming Mark Kelly for this because of Mark Kelly's comments about military, don't have to follow orders and whatnot. And some people are blaming, they're calling them the seditious 6. They're calling them the seditious 6, members of the House and Senate, the seditious 6. And they're saying that their rhetoric the last couple of days of what the videos that they put out contributed to this situation. What do you think? A lot of people are saying that on social media. They're calling them the seditious 6, saying because of their rhetoric, it was an attack on troops. Maybe they're alive. Holy smokes. Let's pray they're okay. We are now receiving conflicting reports about the condition of our 2 Guard members and will provide additional updates once we receive more complete information. Our prayers are with these brave service members, their families, and the entire Guard community. They could be alive. That's hope. Ooh, that's hope. That's hope. They could be alive. Maybe. Conflicting information. Now the governor's trying to find out more. Praying that they are alive and making a full recovery. That's hope. It could be alive. That they might have. I don't know. I don't know if he's the one that put out they died. Now he's kind of backtracking it a little bit. But who cares? That's good. Good. Let's hope they're alive. We'll see about that. When we first started, there was a report that one was dead, one was alive, so that might be it too. There could be. We'll see. We'll see where this goes.
Guys, there's a car coming down. There's a car coming down.
Absolutely insane that this would happen right before Thanksgiving. It happened at all.
Guys, there's a car coming down.
We're waiting for more information to surface. Let's hope they're alive. Let's hope they're alive. All right, so as of right now, a wounded suspect is in custody, but authorities have not officially identified the person. As of now. So we have a suspect in custody. It appears wounded. Don't know the extent of the wound, the major update coming on. Hold on, stand by. Let me see something here. Press conference. Press conference is coming soon. Press conference coming up. Who's speaking? We don't know yet.
Guys, there's a car coming.
See, people are going back to saying one National Guard member died and the other one is critically injured. We'll try to find out more. So they got the entire scene secure.
Guys, there's a car coming.
Pete Hegseth spoke. We'll get that up here too. Pete Hegseth spoke for about 3 minutes. We'll get that up on the screen shortly. Now they're saying suspect was shot 4 times. Suspect in the attack has been shot 4 times and has been transported by ambulance to an area hospital and is now in police custody. He was shot 4 times.
Maybe you can just, that photo first. For the first shot, you can include medicine. And 10 seconds later, you can push in over there. Yes. Later. So now we have that. Memorize it for 2 minutes. I want you to put me off the camera after a second. So you have to move to the side and then move for me. When you step to the side and that's a good time. Yes. Otherwise, I don't want to take you out of the camera when you want to.
Now the question is, who is the suspect? People online are saying an Arabic man. Suspect on that gurney there without his clothes, shot 4 times. I think he didn't have clothes on because they stripped his clothes to make sure he didn't have any bombs on him. I really do. Sure he didn't have anything strapped on him. Conditions of the 2 National Guardmen are unclear. Winding down the last work day before Thanksgiving, and this happens. Horrible. Our thoughts and prayers are with the families of these servicemen.
Guys, there's a car coming out.
Secret Service went there to help. They rushed to the scene to help. Secret Service. Yeah, Pete Hegseth spoke. Secretary of War. Thank you for being here and being a member, Eddie, for 9 months. Appreciate you. Thank you. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth says that Trump, the president of the United States, has ordered the deployment of an additional 500 National Guardsmen to Washington, D.C. That is breaking. We got a clip of Hegseth. We're going to put up on Hegseth.
But I want to start by saying after those meetings, myself and my team were notified that 2 National Guardsmen have been shot in Washington, D.C., critically wounded. The shooter shot in a cowardly, dastardly act targeting the best of America. Heroes willing to serve in Washington, D.C., serve for people they don't know and they've never met because they love their country and their capital and their community. They were willing to do dangerous things others were not because they love their fellow Americans. Someone decided to turn that into targeting National Guardsmen. That will only stiffen our resolve. We will never back down. We will secure our capital. We will secure our cities. In fact, this happened just steps away from the White House. It will not stand. And that's why President Trump has asked me, and I will ask the Secretary of the Army to the National Guard, to add 500 additional troops, National Guardsmen, to Washington, D.C. This will only stiffen our resolve to ensure that we make Washington, D.C. safe and beautiful. The drop in crime has been historic. The increase in safety and security has been historic. But if criminals want to conduct things like this, violence against America's best, we will never back down. President Trump will never back down. That's why the American people elected him. America and our warriors, our National Guardsmen, are strong. And so we're following this very closely. We're getting information rapidly. And I mentioned the faith of this country, the Christian faith, the prayers. I would ask for prayers for our National Guardsmen.
Excuse me, Mr.
Appeals to heaven for our National Guardsmen, for their families, on bended knee as a War Department, as a nation.
Excuse me.
We will never back down. And we think about them right now.
Venezuela.
We're with a couple of great productive meetings with the President and the Minister of Defense here, where we are dedicated to the counter-cartel effort here. Criminality knows no boundaries, whether it's the United States of America and Washington, D.C., or it's the Caribbean and the Western Hemisphere. We are going to go after narco-terrorists. It will not stand. Our borders will be secure, whether it's the Dominican Republic or the United States of America, and we look forward to working with our partners to make it happen. You know, President Trump believes in a clear principle: peace through strength. You get peace by being strong. And if you're a narco-terrorist who wants to bring drugs to the United States of America, we will find you, we will fix you, and we will finish you, because we have all the rights in the world. We've got lots of attorneys and lots of intel analysts, and we know exactly who we're targeting and why. If you're involved in that conduct, we will kill you. It's that deadly serious because of the poison that has made its way into the American public for far too long. President Trump is serious about it. We're serious about it, and we're proud to be working with the Dominican Republic, another country very serious about ensuring that cartels don't set the agenda. We do. Thank you very much.
Interesting. You know, we talked about this situation here. 500 National Guard troops will be deployed, additional to Washington, D.C. And then he goes on about the narco-terrorist in Venezuela, another topic that we've been covering, imminent attack possibly on Venezuela soil, possibly coming at any moment. Narco-terrorists getting shot from the sky. Woo, wild times. Now there's a report comes out here. There's a report out saying that the guardsmen appear to be targeted in this situation, plus the suspect is not cooperating with authorities. And he had no identification on him at the time of his arrest. The targeted shooter, no identification on him. So that makes it interesting. No identification on the shooter. I mean, they will identify him. Suspect has been shot 4 times, but is alive and has been taken into custody. Suspect is alive, shot, no identification on the suspect. And this, the reports are saying that the suspect is not cooperating with authorities. As we wait to get more information. So it looks like troops are coming back to Washington, D.C. More. As we wait for a press conference to come out with more information about what exactly happened here and maybe possibly a name of a suspect. And is this a part of a bigger plot, or is this a lone wolf? The reports are coming out as if they were targeted, ambushed attack. Waiting for the shooter to be identified so we can share that information. The suspect approached the guardsmen, appearing to target them. Firing first at one of the guardsmen who were mere feet away, according to 3 law enforcement sources. One source said the suspect then fired at the other guardsman who tried to get behind a bus stop shelter. The source said the suspect is not cooperating with the investigators and has no identification on him at the time of his arrest. Very shady here. Like it was a plot, not have ID. But they're going to ID him, fingerprint. They'll ID the guy. But who is he? Is it an American citizen that did this? Foreign born? Who did this? Who did this? And why? Was the person working with anyone? Part of a bigger network? Might find these details out very, very soon. More details, at least. There's a lot of people in the chat saying, arrest the 6. Arrest the seditious 6. Mayor's at the scene. It looks like Mayor and Kash Patel. Kash Patel's out there, too. It appears Kash Patel. Mayor Bowser and Kash Patel. Kash Patel. They'll be at the presser. Just to give everyone a heads up. You have these 2 sued soldiers from a neighboring state doing what they can to improve the lives of citizens of Washington, D.C. And one of them gets shot in the head by some individual. Very highly likelihood that this is a terror attack in the sense it is politically motivated.
Like if your first at bat with Gibson, you were going to get him. And it's like, it was up to you how you took it. So you expect to dig in, that bat is on your shoulder.
Again, Pete Hegseth said, we will never back down. We will secure our capital. We will secure our cities. In fact, this happened just steps away from the White House. It will not stand. Also, folks, remember, federal judges out there have blocked the Trump administration's attempt to send National Guard troops to secure these lawless cities. Remember that, too. There has been federal judges that have been blocking the Trump administration's attempt to send National Guard to cities. Presser starting now. Hold on. Stand by. Stand by. Thank you. Stand by. Hold on. Stand by. Get this back up here. Yeah, Kash Patel speaks. Hold on. Stand by. We're getting it up. Do you see it? Everything that's frozen up.
Will have her office's complete attention.
Mayor, was there any other suspect?
Chief?
Sure. So no, at this time, there was no indication that there was any other suspect. The one suspect that was involved in this incident, they were shot during the interaction, and they were transported to the hospital for treatment.
Mayor, does this validate the need for the National Guard here in D.C.?
What we know, Andrea, is that this is a targeted shooting. One individual who appeared to target these guardsmen, that individual has been taken into custody.
Mayor, can you tell us any more details on the condition of the two National Guardsmen and whether or not anyone else was injured? And a quick question follow-up for the FBI director. You said that we'll make sure we find the perpetrators for this act. So just to clarify, the person believed to be responsible is in custody and there are no other suspects.
Sure. So I can start out again. Chief Carroll from MPD. So both the individuals, the guard members, they are in critical condition in a local hospital at this time, being treated. At this point, we have no other suspects. We have reviewed video from the area. It appears, like I said, to be a lone gunman that raised a firearm and ambushed these members of the National Guard, and he was quickly taken into custody by other National Guard members and law enforcement members. No, at this time, obviously, we're very in the preliminary stages of investigation. There's a lot of things, a lot of agents that are here from various federal agencies, law enforcement agencies. We have the full power of the FBI and our federal partners here in the task force. So we're looking at all those different aspects, but we don't have any motive. The National Guardsmen that were shot, I'm told they were armed.
Did they get all shot?
At this time, that's part of the preliminary investigation.
Do we know how the suspect was apprehended? Chief.
Sure. So how the suspect was apprehended, as I said, the individual, the suspect came around the corner. He immediately started firing a firearm at the two National Guard members. So at that time, there were other National Guard members that were in the area. They heard the gunfire. They actually were able to intervene and to kind of hold down the suspect after he had been shot on the ground until law enforcement got there within moments.
And he was shot by a National Guardsman?
At this point, we're still investigating exactly who shot the individual. It's not clear at this time.
Were there DC policemen in the area?
We don't know what kind of weapon. There was DC police. It happened right in front of the Metro, although there is no indication that the perpetrator was on the Metro. So there's Metro Transit Police in the area, and obviously being on 17th Street by the White House, Uniform Division of Secret Service were in the immediate area as well.
What kind of weapon the alleged perpetrator used?
We do not know at this time. It's still under investigation.
We're going to be able to take a couple more.
Has been able to question the suspect, or is his condition so severe that you haven't been able to have a conversation?
Sure. Again, so as I said, we're very preliminary in the investigation, so we're looking to all aspects of who the individual is, his connections. At this time, he's still in the hospital receiving treatment.
And I would just like, hang on. I would just like to add, the reason that this suspect is in custody is because of the bravery of the men and women of the National Guard who responded due to their extensive training to secure American lives today. There was not any further injury and any further shootings. We should highlight the fact that the men and women of law enforcement, the interagency, the Department of War, and the National Guard executed their training with great precision today and prevented an even greater tragedy from befalling us. These National Guardsmen are heroes, and we must pray for their safety and their speedy recovery. And as the chief said, we are in the preliminary stages of this investigation. We will run down every single lead, every piece of evidence. This is the power of the U.S. government at its best at the state, local, and federal level. That is why this interagency group is standing behind us to assure America and the world that we will continue to keep DC safe. And thankfully, we have Metropolitan Police Department, the National Guardsmen, and federal agents, and the Department of Justice and the Attorney General willing to prosecute the mission to keep Americans safe. And President Trump has rightly stated that this heinous act will be investigated, and he has thanked the National Guard's men and women and the men and women of law enforcement.
Did the suspect say anything at the time? Why did the West Virginia governor say that they did?
You were just listening to the press conference right there, and I think that the biggest thing that we heard from that is DC Mayor Muriel Bowser said this was a targeted attack.
Yes.
And then we heard Jeff Carroll, the executive assistant chief, go through and describe exactly what happened.
Exactly. He said that the suspect turned the corner and immediately started firing at the two National Guardsmen, the Guards members, I should say, and that there were other National Guard members in the vicinity, in that area, who then came to intervene and subdued or held down the suspect until other authorities could arrive. We do not know. It's unclear, according to the police chief, who shot the suspect at this point.
Right. The other thing we learned is that the alleged gunman was also shot. We don't know the latest on his condition right now, who he was, what may have sparked this shooting or anything else. As they mentioned, this is very early on in this investigation, but we heard from FBI Director Kash Patel call this a heinous act of violence that will be investigated and prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
Yeah, absolutely. So Look, I mean, he made it clear, Patel made it clear that because these National Guard troops are sworn officers, that they're considered federal law enforcement officers, and that opens the door for the FBI to lead this investigation. It would seemingly
Yeah. So we heard from Patel. We heard from Bowser. Didn't take much questions, but they took some. But yeah, I want to go back to Patel. What Patel just said first, because we were having a little technical difficulties here. But I want to go back to Patel. What he said when he first started the press conference. And we're going to replay that just at the beginning because we missed it. And then we'll come back here to the crime scene. National Guard members are in critical condition. So it doesn't appear anyone's dead.
And your prayers to those brave warriors who are in critical condition and their families. They are here serving our country. They are here protecting everyday Americans and citizens around the world in our nation's capital. They are the heroes of this day, and we must remember them on this day and every day, and their families and the sacrifice they have made. I will now turn it over to Chief Carroll of the Metropolitan Police Department. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jeff Carroll. I'm the Executive Assistant Chief here at the Metropolitan Police Department. At approximately 2:15 this afternoon, members of the DC National Guard were on high visibility patrols in the area of 17th and I Street Northwest when a suspect came around the corner, raised his arm with a firearm, and discharged it at the National Guard members. The National Guard members, there were other members that were in the area. They were able to, after some back and forth, able to subdue the individual and bring him into custody. Within moments, members of law enforcement in the area were also able to assist and bring that individual into custody. At this time, as the director mentioned, the National Guard members are being treated at a local hospital. DC Fire and EMS responded to the scene to provide first aid for those individuals and transport them to a local hospital. The suspect in this case was also transported for treatment at a local hospital. Madam Mayor?
Thank you. I'm Muriel Bowser. I'm the mayor of Washington, D.C., and I, too, want to send my thoughts and prayers to the families of the guardsmen and to the guardsmen who are in critical condition in a local hospital. I am joined by members and leadership from the D.C. National Guard, from the West Virginia National Guard, United States Secret Service, Deputy Mayor Pia, Fire Chief Donnelly, and Metro's General Manager Randy Clark. And we join with the FBI Director in ensuring that MPD investigates, the U.S. Attorney prosecutes this case to the fullest extent of the law. I've had the opportunity to brief U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi, who was speaking to the president when I called, as well as the United States Attorney Pirro, who assured me that this case will have her office's complete attention.
Mayor, was there any other suspect?
Chief?
Sure. So no, at this time, there was no indication that there was any other suspect. The one suspect that was involved in this incident, they were shot during the interaction, and they were transported to the hospital for treatment.
Mayor, does this validate the need for the National Guard here?
What we know, Andrea, is that this is a targeted shooting. One individual who appeared to target these guardsmen, that individual has been taken into custody.
Mayor, can you tell us any more details on the condition of the two National Guardsmen and whether or not anyone else was injured? And a quick question follow-up for the FBI Director. You said that we'll make sure we find the perpetrators for this act. So just to clarify, the person believed to be responsible is in custody and there are no other suspects.
Sure. So I can start out again, Chief Carroll from MPD. So both the individuals, the Guard members, they are in critical condition in a local hospital at this time being treated. At this point, we have no other suspects. We have reviewed video from the area. It appears, like I said, to be a lone gunman that raised a firearm and ambushed these members of the National Guard, and he was quickly taken into custody by other National Guard members and law enforcement members.
Any sense of motive?
No, at this time, obviously, we're very in the preliminary stages of investigation. There's a lot of things, a lot of agents that are here from various federal agencies, law enforcement agencies. We have the full power of the FBI and our federal partners here in the task force. So we're looking at all those different aspects, but we don't have any motive. The National Guardsmen that were shot, I'm told they were armed.
Did they get all shot?
At this time, that's part of the preliminary investigation.
Do we know how the suspect was?
Chief.
Sure. So how the suspect was apprehended, as I said, the individual, the suspect came around the corner. He immediately started firing a firearm at the 2 National Guard members. So at that time, there were other National Guard members that were in the area. They heard the gunfire. They actually were able to intervene and to kind of hold down the suspect after he had been shot on the ground until law enforcement got there within moments.
He was shot by a National Guard.
At this point, we're still investigating exactly who shot the individual. It's not clear at this time.
Were there DC policemen in the area?
We don't know what kind of weapon. There was DC police. It happened right in front of the Metro, although there is no indication that the perpetrator was on the Metro. So there's Metro Transit Police in the area. And obviously being on 17th Street by the White House, Uniform Division of Secret Service were in the immediate area as well. We do not know at this time. It's still under investigation.
We're going to be able to take a couple more.
Have you been able to question the suspect, or is his condition so severe that you haven't been able to have a conversation?
Sure. Again, so as I said, we're very preliminary in the investigation, so we're looking to all aspects of who the individual is, his connections. At this time, he's still in the hospital receiving treatment.
And I would just like, hang on. I would just like to add, the reason that this suspect is in custody is because of the bravery of the men and women of the National Guard who responded due to their extensive training to secure American lives today. There was not any further injury and any further shootings. We should highlight the fact that the men and women of law enforcement, the interagency, the Department of War, and the National Guard executed their training with great precision today and prevented an even greater tragedy from befalling us. These National Guardsmen are heroes, and we must pray for their safety and their speedy recovery. And as the chief said, we are in the preliminary stages of this investigation. We will run down every single lead, every piece of evidence. This is the power of the U.S. government at its best at the state, local, and federal level. That is why this interagency group is standing behind us to assure America and the world that we will continue to keep D.C. safe. And thankfully, we have Metropolitan Police Department, the National Guardsmen, and federal agents, and the Department of Justice and Attorney General willing to prosecute the mission to keep Americans safe. And President Trump has rightly stated that this heinous act will be investigated, and he has thanked the National Guards men and women and the men and women of law enforcement.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, so we wanted to play that again because that was the full, we were having a little technical difficulty, so we'll get an understanding here. Looks like the sole person responsible here is in custody. Now, this is the crime scene live. This is live. This is live. Now, I am trying to find out an identity of the shooter. Now, there's some conflicting information whether the shooter is Arabic or not. It appears that could be the person, but there's a lot of names being put out there. But clearly, this was some sort of ambush attack. This was clearly a targeted ambush attack where they got targeted. National Guard. Sad. It's a horrible situation. This is the climate that we're in. In response, Hegseth said that 500 additional National Guard troops will be sent to the Washington, D.C. area. There is no indication that there is any other suspect. The shooting will be treated as an assault on a federal law enforcement officer. The gunman opened fire on National Guardsmen who were performing high visibility patrols. Now, Patel also said, I guess they're both in critical condition, which is great news. That's better than being dead. in critical condition. Male suspect, lone gunman. Unclear who shot the suspect, but I believe it was probably the responding National Guardsman. We'll see what other type of info we can get while we're on. We're going to stay with this as long as the feed's up. Suspect is not cooperating. Now, there's reports saying the suspect can't even be identified, which is crazy itself too. And I'm very concerned tomorrow for like Thanksgiving Day parade, Thanksgiving events, targeted attacks. Well, Thanksgiving, I'm very concerned about that tomorrow. You know, the Thanksgiving holiday and like a terror attack on Thanksgiving. Macy's parade, Thanksgiving, right? In there, the Thanksgiving Day parade. I'm sorry, Thanksgiving Day parade, but you got different parades in different cities. Massive crime scene. They're still out there. Still out there. Still out there. As the sun is starting to go down, Thanksgiving Eve, folks. House Speaker Mike Johnson praises National Guard's work in wake of shooting. House Speaker Mike Johnson praised the heroic work of the National Guard as he called for prayers in the wake of the shooting Wednesday in D.C. The suspect is now in custody following the tragic events. Please join us in a prayer for the National Guardsmen who were shot near the White House today, and pray with us for their loved ones too. The National Guard has done fantastic work this year. Heroes working around the clock to make our nation's capital safe again. We are forever grateful for their swift actions. We're forever grateful for the swift actions of law enforcement and for those who risk their own lives to protect everything else. So we got that.
Nobody knows if you're going to have a live show or not. So we just only 2 blocks away from the new restaurant. Why don't we go back and have hot coffee? Yes.
Targeted shooting against National Guard. See a lot of people in the chat. Welcome aboard. JLR Investigates. So I don't know. What about those same politicians that were calling for National Guard to be confronted, or Border Patrol ICE to be confronted, or Mark Kelly and those individuals? What do they have to say about this? What do they have to say about this situation? It will be interesting to see if any of them, which some people refer to as the seditious six, some people think, they had the right to say it too. What they said about, military don't have to follow orders. I wonder what they have to say about the situation. It will be interesting. Now you got National Guard members getting shot in the streets, attacked. We will wait and see where this goes. All right, one of the senators, Slotkin, who was in that video, says, sending prayers and strengths to our friends, families, and fellow guardsmen of the 2 West Virginians who were shot in Washington. These individuals signed up to serve because they cared about their community and their country, and to have this happen the day before Thanksgiving is heartbreaking. People are responding to Senator Slotkin, saying, you went on national TV the other day and said you feared that National Guardsmen would start shooting American citizens. People are saying in the chat comments on Slotkin, you caused this. You did this. You did this. You were on national TV last week claiming that the National Guard will shoot civilians. You incited this. I mean, she's getting absolutely ratioed right now. You did this. You caused this. Magnolia put something on a screen on an unrelated story that we've covered on JLR Investigates with Micah Miller and JP Miller. We might have some action going on with JP Miller. Apparently, he turned himself into the Horry County Detention Center today at 3 p.m., but we don't know why. Apparently, it might be an incident with another protester, or it could be something else. But we're monitoring that situation. In Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. So if all of you have followed the Michael Miller case, could be some issues here with JP Miller. Now I'm trying to wait for a like some sort of suspect to be named. Usually the internet will name that person before everyone else. We're waiting to see if that pops up. A suspect's name that could be responsible for this. Who is it? Who's the suspect? Originally, it was reported that they died, but however, it appears they are alive. Oh, at the Hong Kong fire, the death toll has risen to 44, by the way. So just keeping tabs on the Hong Kong fire. 40. Oh, taking down some of the crime scene tape here. Taking down some of the crime scene tape means they might be starting to clear the scene here. Taking some of the tape down. They might be starting to wind down here. We'll see. It's a sign that they got what they need. We'll see. It's absolutely insane this is happening in the streets of America, where law enforcement over and over keep getting targeted, attacked, ambushed. National Guard troops, Border Patrol, ICE agents getting their vehicles rammed. Enough is enough. We are in a spiritual battle right now between good and evil. I don't think it's a Democrat or Republican issue. I think it's between good and evil. It's between good and evil, a spiritual battle on U.S. soil. Between good and evil. There's a lot of things we don't agree with out there, a lot of things, but this is not the answer. This is not the answer, just to attack law enforcement because you don't like a certain policy or whatever. It's not the answer.
Mike, I'll stay live until that's gathered, okay?
And again, some of these politicians, they have a big responsibility with their voices and their rhetoric and their talk. I mean, we were just sharing one of the senators, Slotkin. She specifically went on national TV just last week and said that she fears that National Guard will start shooting civilians. It's that type of stuff. Or she actually said it was going to happen, like a statement of fact. Now National Guard get ambushed because it puts it in these people's minds, the weak-minded people, fringe people, and they're like, well, I'm protecting humanity, and we got to attack law enforcement at all costs because they're a threat to us. And the wackadoodles. It's sick. Got a new mayor coming up next year. See where this goes. You know, I personally think eventually we might see law enforcement like National Guard in all the cities or all the major cities down the line. I mean, we hear crime is going down, violent crimes going down in certain cities, but people just want safety and security. People just want to be able to go out in the parks and go around and see the beauty of downtown cities and not see the chaos and crime and muggings and stabbings. The homelessness issue, though homelessness shouldn't be criminalized, but homelessness is a big issue in these cities. Want to see these cities get cleaned up, beautified, if that's even a word, fixed, and it possibly will take the National Guard to get into these cities. Some politicians don't like it in these certain cities, like their own backyard. They don't want it. And they are inciting their masses and their followers to confront these Border Patrol and ICE agents and DHS and National Guard and confront them. And give the National Guard full powers. If you're going to give them out there, don't do it half job and not allow them to use their weapons and things like that, or not have weapons. Give them the full powers to protect themselves. Because you don't want these National Guard also being sitting ducks. Give them the full powers.
Car coming out. Just wait right there now.
When you just adjust
It's like a war zone down here. Let me look a little bit more into the Hong Kong thing while we're on. Just give you an update because we broke off the Hong Kong story to come here. Just to make sure everyone's okay in Hong Kong. It looks like the fire is almost out in Hong Kong of the buildings. And it's starting to become light there in Hong Kong. Got to get these National Guard armed because it appears that National Guard are not normal. They don't normally have ammunition.
Okay.
Hong Kong. Let me give you an update. 3 arrested in Hong Kong in connection with the fire. Hong Kong police have arrested 3 men in connection of the suspicion, or have arrested 3 men on suspicion of manslaughter in connection with the fire at the housing complex. Yeah, they're going to make an example of somebody in Hong Kong. And of course, there's people on Blue Sky right now. There's posts on Blue Sky. Blue Sky, you know, you got X and you got Blue Sky, and people over there on Blue Sky are celebrating the ambush of these National Guard troops on Blue Sky. There are people on social media are posting posts. Obviously, they're fringe people and wackadoodles, but people on Blue Sky are actually celebrating on Blue Sky. They are repeating claims by politicians that the troops are following illegal orders from the president. Have people on Blue Sky celebrating the shooting of these National Guard troops on Blue Sky. That is insane that they'd be on Blue Sky celebrating. Still a massive crime scene here. They still got the crime scene tape set up. I'm trying to get the shooter's name here. I got a closer look at the shooter, so let me get a photo. I got a closer look at the shooter. But the shooter has not been identified yet. Starting to get dark. Many people are starting to go home for their Thanksgiving. Tomorrow's Thanksgiving. I hope we're not back here tomorrow talking about some more craziness. Look, do you recognize this guy? This is a closer shot of the shooter. So we obviously edited out some things, some private parts and different things. This guy is laying without a shirt on. He has a beard. Looks like a hairy man. They took his shoes off, probably, be right. They took everything off. They took everything off because they probably thought he might have had some sort of bomb strapped on him or something like that. That's my theory here. They stripped him down naked. He was shot, apparently 4 times. Do you recognize this guy? Where do you think this guy comes from? Who is he? Why would this guy do it? Assassin? Is he a local? Is he from DC? Who is he? Is he an American citizen? Was he born here? Is he an immigrant? Who is he? Why would this guy do this to law enforcement? I want to send something over. Hold on. Before we go, I want to go to Hong Kong real quick and just give you an update. I want to show you a feed here in Hong Kong. So stay with me here. Their feed went away, but I wanted to show you what it looks like in Hong Kong because I want to just follow up with that for a second. I got this feed here. I want to show you what the building looks like now because, you know, we want to look at the after fact because it's starting to get light in Hong Kong. And we've been covering all day the craziness with the fire there. So I'm going to get this up in the pipeline. AP went away with that story in Washington, D.C. We'll definitely do a follow-up. Whoever that suspect is, you know, with that, a subsequent live or whatever like that, as soon as we get the identification. But I want to get this up here. So stand by. We'll get this up in the pipeline here. So I can just show you what the building or the buildings that were on fire, what they look like right here. This is it. It's still going on. So this is the situation in Hong Kong. There was a massive fire that broke out a little bit before 3 p.m. their time, and it has been burning overnight. So it was been nighttime, and now it's starting to become light there. And you can see the building. Its building is almost out. So this is let me just give you an update on this too, because the numbers are coming out. The death toll has risen. This is a terrible situation too, a Hong Kong fire. And it appears multiple men have been arrested. 44 dead from at least 44 dead and hundreds missing from a fire here at a housing complex consisting of 8 buildings, 7 buildings caught on fire, and it has been burning for hours, and 3 arrested. 3 arrested. 3 arrested. 3 arrested. 3 people have been arrested on suspicion of manslaughter following a fire. Police accused the 3 of gross negligence at a press conference. So this is a building complex, which you see. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be able to. Yeah, so hundreds and hundreds of deaths possibly in this situation. So this happened here in Hong Kong. 3 people have been arrested. 3 people have been arrested for gross negligence. 3 men arrested in relation to a fire at an apartment complex in Hong Kong. 2 are directors and a consultant of a construction company. Officials say at a press conference. They are accused of gross negligence. Police found the construction company name on inflammable boards that firefighters found blocking some windows at the apartment complex. So someone's going to be held accountable here from this situation. So this is another update. 44 dead and hundreds of missing. So this is it's getting light. You can see the fire is pretty much out at this point, but I wanted to come over here to do a follow-up on this because I know we were covering this earlier. And then let me go back to the National Guard, see if there's any additional information about the National Guard story, but a lot of the feeds all went away. So it seems like everything is like winding down. But will the story wind down? Or is this going to be something bigger and there's going to be more and there's going to be more attacks? Is anything going to be done from this craziness out there? Will there be change made? Will 500 new National Guard make a difference in Washington, D.C.? What about these politicians? What about these politicians? Are they going to stop with their rhetoric? Are the politicians going to tone it down? Will we ever be united again in this country? Because we are not united in the United States of America. We're not united. We're not. There is a huge gap, a huge divide. Though I think we all are on the same page on a lot of things. I just don't know what went haywire here. You know, our country for decades and decades, disagreements between people. Okay. But just the attack on law enforcement, the attack of on both sides, it's getting out of hand. It's getting crazy. And I say both sides, both sides. It's just, there's just a lot of talk. But at the same time, things need to be fixed because we have problems in this country. We have big problems in this country with a lot of things. Crime, immigration, healthcare, affordability, homelessness issue, drug issues, terrorists, anarchists. We have a lot of problems, and how this will all get solved or what's the solution here, I don't know how far this is going to go. I don't know. I don't know how far this go. There's fringe craziness on the left. There's fringe craziness on the right. There's wackadoodles out there. I myself just the other day was a victim to a situation, which I'm going through a complete headache right now from someone that was not insured properly, plowing into me that has a history, that's an immigrant that has a history of getting arrested for reckless driving and all types of things. I have to deal with the situation right now that probably could have been prevented. The National Guard are in these cities to keep our cities safe because these cities have gotten out of control. We know that. They want you to think in cities that the cities are safe. They're not. They're not safe. There's criminal gangs running amok. Police have so many policies in play. Their hands are tied. I know law enforcement wants to do their job. Most of them want to do their job. It's the people, it's the policies, people telling them how to do their job. I was in Charlotte. I didn't see anyone get pulled over. They don't pull people over in Charlotte. Roving gangs, people lawlessness, people doing donuts and pop-up street takeovers, criminal gangs all around the cities. We got mental illness. We got mental health problems. We got people, crazies running around. Big homeless issue in most of the cities. Criminals being let out. Criminals getting slaps on the wrist. No bail. Criminals just can do crime and they just get released back out on the streets. Parole officers and probation officers not monitoring the people. Got rhetoric of politicians. You got all this misinformation and craziness and toxic. Enough is enough. That's really all I have to say about the matter. I kind of mixed in my own little personal opinion. Do I got it right or I got it wrong? We all can agree or disagree. This is a chat where you can, share your thoughts. But at the end of the day, no matter where you stand politically, this is not the way. It's not the way. Attacking National Guard now. Going to ambush National Guard in our streets. All right, I'm going to blow myself up here. JLR Investigates. Thanks for stopping by. Folks, everyone, you guys have a safe, prosperous, blessed Thanksgiving. Thank you, everyone that contributed. We've been on all day on two giant stories here. One, a fire, so our thoughts are with, oh, look at this. Magnolia put this up. I also set the Christmas tree up in back of me. I got a nice Christmas tree. We set it up. Me and Magnolia set up the Christmas tree. So we got Christmas. We celebrate Christmas. We say Merry Christmas on JLR Investigates. We do say Merry Christmas, but we'll also say Happy Holidays for everyone that doesn't celebrate Christmas. And anyone out there that doesn't celebrate any holidays or Thanksgiving, or if you're watching from around the world and you don't participate in Thanksgiving, we wish you well. We hope you have a prosperous day tomorrow and going through Christmas and New Year's, and be safe out there. Be safe. We appreciate all people's opinions, all people's perspectives, all walks of life. You are all welcome here to have an opinion, and we appreciate you. So stay safe. We will be praying for the National Guard, praying for law enforcement. We say no to criminal activity. And if we get the criminal suspect's name, I'll do a follow-up video of new press conferences or anything like that. You will hear it here. Until next time, and hopefully we're not back tomorrow. I want to eat some yummy turkey and enjoy my Thanksgiving with my loved ones, my pets, my family. Don't want to come back. So please, please, please be no shootings. Please be safe out there. Stay vigilant too, my friends. We'll talk soon. Thanks for watching. JLR Magnolia Investigates. Stay safe.